Welcome back to Secrets of the Opposite Sex. I'm Tasha Ray.
And I'm Taro, and we got another brave lady in our hot seat today.
Yeah, we have the creator of some of your favorite Instagram pages, the inspirational ones like Black Love Page, which is our favorite. Welcome to the show, Fran.
Hi, my name is Francoise, but a lot of people call me Fran. I am 32 years old. I just turned 32. Go Virgos. I am the founder and creator of Black Love Page. I'm also a writer. I go by Today's Insight. That's like my pen handle. And I'm currently engaged. He
Yes.
proposed birthday. Thank you. So this Thursday will actually make it a month since he proposed. And yeah, I'm just currently engaged and I'm enjoying this chapter, not trying to rush to the next chapter. That was some advice that a lot of people gave me. They're like, when you're engaged, you have to enjoy being engaged, getting premarital counseling and just preparing for marriage and not so much the wedding.
Yeah, girl. That's great advice.
So, did you when he proposed? Did you see it coming for real? Were you really surprised? Like, what was that feeling like?
Oh my gosh, I'm actually going to make a social media post about that question. I get that question so often. So I always say I was surprised by the execution. I was surprised by the detail. I was surprised by the care that he put into it. However, I wasn't surprised by the proposal itself because we talked about marriage. We talked about it going into our relationship. I was very intentional. I met him right when I was turning 30. I met him like a week before, well, we met in person like a week before my 30th birthday. And for a lot of us, 30 is such a big milestone. So I went into it like, look, I'm trying to be married. I want to have a family. So if that's what you want, that's,
Yeah.
if we're on the same page, then let's continue to build this relationship. So to answer your question, I was surprised and taken back by like the way it all went down. But him getting on his knee and saying he wanted to spend his life with me, I wasn't that surprised because we talked about it. It was definitely in our pillow talk. So
Mhm.
so yeah.
Nice. Okay, so we're going to get into our questions. So we pull the questions from the app Secrets of the Opposite Sex. Fran, you are familiar.
I am familiar. Yes, I'm so glad to still see this going and thriving.
Yes, girl, we got to get people talking for this reason that we want some ring. We
Yes,
want some engagements, some marriages and stuff, you
yes.
know? So these
Ooh,
questions are going to be about dating, leading up to marriage, all the good fun stuff. So the first one that we pulled, is there such thing as moving on too fast after a breakup?
no. And the reason why I say no is because I truly believe time is of the essence. I do believe you need time for healing and growing and things like that. But why is it such a this or that type of world? I think you could do these things simultaneously because we're forever healing and growing and going through something, but you can't get that time back. So I know a heartbreak. I've been through heartbreaks. And I actually, looking back, like it all worked out for me. But when I do look back at it, I'm like, wow, like, why did you spend 3, 4, 5 years all upset and feeling hurt when you really could have still been living your life and meeting new people. Dating is not sleeping with people. Dating is literally just that, going on dates, getting to know people. So yeah, so I actually think that there isn't like no time frame. I think the sooner the better, actually.
I know that's
I,
right.
I think I love that you say that because I think when the way that I look at it a lot of the times, specifically after a breakup, is I'm always thinking like when I do meet someone that I'm kind of interested in, I'm like, oh well, do I is is this too quick? Like, what does this look like outside of? Does it look crazy that I'm now talking to this person and it's been 6 days? I mean, personally, like I gotta go quick, so I can't be
Yeah,
in mourning too long. So well, maybe 6 days is too quick, but I don't really know.
right. I mean, yeah,
Live it, Tad. Like,
but honestly,
live
you just
it.
really
Give
never
them
know
up.
because days you could be at the grocery store, you feel me? And then your person could just be like, hey, like,
That's real.
I would like to get to know you. Like you just really never know. Um, and I think you gotta move with discernment. You can't just be out here thinking each person's the one. But you can't hide yourself. You can't hide yourself.
That's real. So do you No, not now. This doesn't pertain to the present. But in the
Right.
past, have you had like a breakup routine? Like you watching Waiting to Exhale, you eating some ice cream, you going and changing the passwords to the Netflix and the Hulu account, like
Girl, I remember it's so funny because one of my friends told me vividly, she was like, wow, you went through your first heartbreak in your 20s. She was like, I could only imagine what that was like because honestly, I didn't really date much, but when I did date, it was like in my like mid 20s. So imagine by the time I did get my heart broken, I was a bit older. And so I would just say, yeah, like I was pretty hurt. And that's what I was saying earlier to the first question. You got to be able to keep it pushing. I would say, yeah, like the crying, I'm laughing because I did this one thing that was so embarrassing. I used to take pictures of myself crying to see how I look. I'm like, this how I look crying. Okay. But and I know people be like, why do people do it? I mean, I don't upload it or anything, but I'm just saying I went through all types of levels of hurt.
yeah.
And I will say that, one day I just was like, I snapped out of it.
Hmm.
And I was like, girl, like you're that girl. Like, do not like right, don't be in this sunken place. Like get up, get it together, push through. And like I'm so happy I found that strength because I know there's a lot of women and men, we be forgetting our fellas, y'all go through it too. It's like you get that heartbroken and it's just like no one really taught you how to navigate, and can't nobody really tell you how you feel. And I know therapy is so hot right now and everything, but it's like, do you go to therapy for a boyfriend? Like, I mean, granted you could, but I just felt more like, okay, I need to push through and get out of this. Um, but yeah, I was changing passwords and I was doing a lot. Yeah.
Not even gonna hold you. I have a many videos that I have saved that are 15 seconds or less of me shedding a couple
You
tears
correct. Okay,
because
so I'm not
No.
I will 100% say that I have done that before because
Yeah.
I had to practice my crying face. So when I'm crying in front of you, usually to manipulate you, I need to know what I look like.
Not practice.
the
Uh,
one. Hilarious.
because I
Manipulate.
need to make sure, left cheek right, fry first and right, because it really
Needs
just
to be
depends on what I'm trying
Oscar-worthy.
to get out. Because I'm never
You
crying
are
because
hilarious. That is so funny.
I ain't doing it because I'm sad. Like I'm doing it because I want something usually. So
Oh,
like
you
then
just
my
need
eyebrows
to.
need to be a certain way. It all has to work out the way that I need it to. So I too have practiced a tear.
Not practice, wait. Practice. That is actually hilarious.
My next question for you is what is something you wish that men understood about women specifically in the dating phase?
Oh my gosh. This is so spot on because this was one of the many conversations I had with my now fiance when we were just dating. Women have a biological time clock, okay? So I I'm not moving to the beat of the drum of hurry, 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 hurry because no, I don't want a family that's going to be in shambles. However, I personally do want a family. So because I want that for myself, right? I have to acknowledge that I have a biological time clock. I could tell you as a man, and you could either choose to understand it or you could choose to just be like, no, and stay in whatever stage that you're in. But that was definitely one of the conversations I had when I got into dating. And I think, especially entering my 30s, it heightened that awareness for me. And I was dating with intention, like marriage, family. That's how I went into it. And if I scared you away, I scared you away. And luckily, the man for me stayed. But, that is something I think a lot of men should try to understand more of. Women, we lose our eggs if we're not freezing them, and things like that. Like, who's to say, right? Like 5 years from now, you may want a child, but what if you don't have any more eggs? Or even worse, what if something happens to you, right? What if you get cancer? You got to go through chemotherapy, and then that radiation, it kills your eggs, it burns your eggs.
Yeah.
So yeah, like so women are put in different situations where it's like I have a biological time clock. I don't know, so yeah, so that's something I think I would want men to be more mindful of during that dating phase. Like, don't waste my time.
Absolutely. Whew. That is a fact. I co
Yes.
sign that. Like this is not the time to be playing with me. It's not the time.
It's not,
The
it's
time.
not. And I heard Dr. Jackie speak. She's on Married to Medicine, and she has this saying. It's called eggs on ice, and she really tells women from your 20s, freeze your eggs. Even if you're married, freeze your eggs. Because the thing is, if it's like insurance, if you want it, you would like to be able to have the option. And a lot of women in the audience, such as myself, I was like, that sounds expensive. Like, who's freezing
Hello,
eggs? Okay. But
especially in
she
your
was like,
20s.
no. But she said a lot of women do it in their 20s. You'll be surprised because the younger you are, the better your eggs are,
Right.
the better quality of an egg that you will be able to fertilize. But she actually said it's very affordable. I think she said it was like she was like it's that Louis bag. It's the price of a Louis bag. She tried to compare it
Which
like that.
one now, child? We talking the bottom or the top? Because that's a range.
And I don't want to say the wrong number, but no, she really was like it's very affordable, and it's unfortunate that a lot of people of color don't know about like the options and the payment plans and stuff like that for it.
Mm,
Yeah.
that's real. Shoot, we just learned on the last episode, we had one of our friends, Cinnamon, on who lives in Portugal. She was telling us out in England, they're doing it for free. Like they're allowing you to go through
Wow.
that process for free. Yeah.
And a lot of countries to touch on what you just said, a lot of countries they definitely provide that. I mean, but I will say it does reach a point where we have to be very proactive in getting the information because it's just life. You know what I'm saying? Like we could always compare, apples to oranges, whatever, and what we have, what they have, or what we don't have and what they have. But, you know, we just gotta be proactive. That's all I can really say about that.
Absolutely. So, in a relationship, is there a difference between omitting information and lying? Or is that the same
Ooh.
thing?
You guys, wow. So funny thing is I'm an oversharer. I'm
Mm.
always, child, I can't lie. I can't. It's just my face will tell it all. And so what I will say is going into a relationship, this person may not need to know every detail from when you first started dating, you feel me? But there are major things that you should not leave out, and it could be considering lying. Especially if you have any like health concerns or anything in your family lineage that they need to know about. Like those are the type of things that you should not omit because it could just come back out in a different way. And then it's going to be like, well, you lied because you never told me this. So
Yeah.
I think you got to be able to know the levels of what to share, what not to share, and what needs to be shared, even if the question doesn't come up, because you cannot, pose a question that you're unaware of a situation. Then you can't say, well, you never asked me that, because I hate when people do that.
That's their favorite
Um,
line.
oh, well, you never, that ain't never come up. Because why would my mind go there, right? And so that's why there are just levels to it. And some people just you gotta be self-aware. That's what it is. Be self-aware to know when you're talking too much and you're saying too much, but also when this actually needs to be shared.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, I think that's you said a mouthful definitely because I'm an oversharer and like for real, like from the get-go. I'm telling you everything, maybe second date, just because A, I like to run my mouth way too goddamn much. And then B, what I've also learned in kind of oversharing is there are even questions that I won't ask you or questions that I feel like I don't need to know because that's some things kind of fuel insecurity long term. So if I'm sharing something that I probably shouldn't be sharing, I kind of like to phrase it to like I'm talking to myself and say, how would
Yeah.
this make you feel if you knew this information?
Mhm.
And I try to lean it into more how relevant is it to this experience that I'm having with
Oh, I
someone
like
else?
Mm.
And I feel like I've learned a lot about how things make me feel, how I do it. Because if I don't need to know this from you for real, they're great. Like a very simple
Mhm.
and kind of silly one is I don't ask people about body count. One, I don't care about who you slept with prior to. Two, I'm grown. Like grow up.
Yeah.
But then I'm also like, yeah, and if you tell me it's 400 people, I'm gonna just be like, oh well, you a hoe. And then so it's like, why am I? So now I'm making it negative from the
Right.
start. So I think
Right.
being intentional in girl, Everybody
No, I
grow up.
like what you said. Yeah, and the thing is, it's so funny because instead of saying what's your body count, why not say let's go down to the clinic, let's get tested together
How about
before you know
that?
what? So to your
Yeah,
point, you said how relevant. You know what's relevant? What's your status right now? What's your health status right now? That's what's relevant. So I like the way you phrase that, and that's actually something I do, and that's something me and my fiance did. Like very early, I was like, let's just go to the clinic, let's both get tested. I knew I was good, but you got to do that to make sure that they know, like, okay, like, because there's people they enter relationships and it's like, okay, what's your credit score? What's your debt? What's your
yeah,
like real questions? Again, relevant. What's up?
yeah. Shoot, we getting down to the nitty gritty, like you said, dating with intention.
Yeah,
Goals out
Mhm.
here.
big difference. Yeah, and I don't think in your like it depends. Honestly, it's a mindset because I will tell you in my like early 20s, even like mid 20s, I was not the person I am today, of course. And those type of questions would have never came up when I was dating someone. But looking back, I wish they did. It would have weeded out things much sooner. So,
Okay, so prior to your wonderful engagement, doing, your dating phase, what would you say the most common reason you would lose interest in someone would be?
oh boy, I'm very ambitious. Okay, very very ambitious, and I'm sure you two are as well. Because to have a podcast, to be an entrepreneur, it takes a level of drive that you have to literally give yourself. Like when no one's clapping, you need to be clapping for yourself.
That's
And
that.
so I would say in the past, like I just dated people who didn't get that. I dated people who just were very like one-minded, and I'm very like a creative all over. And granted, structure is something I've learned to work more on. But in the past, like anybody that was trying to dim that light or just trying to tell me like calm down, like I don't like that. I don't like a calm down type of person. I want to be who I am, and I want to be expressive, and I just want you to be my hype person, and if you can't do that, then you just gotta get out the way, because life is already hard enough. You already have other people that are going to question you and tell you to pipe down. Like, why should my partner be that person? So
Right.
yeah, so that's what I would definitely say was like a big turn off. Like when I would meet guys and it was just like, calm down, like you're too ambitious, you're thinking too big. And there are people like that, even in friendships. Like you got to be able to see when someone's really not cheering you on.
Right. Ooh,
Yeah,
yeah, that's my biggest turn off. Like a lot of people have that mindset where they want you to shine, just not brighter than them. So if it ever
that
feels
part.
like your star's on the rise a little bit more than theirs, then it's
That's the
tension.
thing. Yeah,
Not to make
relationship.
yourself comes out. Yeah.
Exactly. That is a thing. People be in relationships secretly competing
Oh,
with each
yeah.
other, and it's a mess. Yeah.
Okay, so should financial responsibility be split 50-50 in a relationship, or should the primary breadwinner determine how the money is spent?
Ooh, I think it's up to the primary breadwinner. I think it's a hey, let's talk. Okay, how much you bring to the table? How much I bring to the table? How much are our expenses? And again, it differs, right, from dating to then engaged, married. Like, so I mean, I'm not going to be a girlfriend expecting a boyfriend to be 50-50 with me or anything with me or paying all my bills. Like me personally, I just no, that's just not for me. But I would say it depends where you are, right? Is it dating? Is it serious dating? Is it engaged, married? But I don't think it's up to one person, because I know the question was more so like, is it up to the primary breadwinner? No, I think it's a conversation with the both of you. You bring it all to the table. And then a cool thing is something that we do is like we opened a checking account, and in that account, like I give whatever I'm giving, he give whatever he's giving, and then we pay the bills with that account. And then the rest is whatever. But I will say finances is very important. You have to talk about it. You cannot try to hide from finances. And let me tell you, just because you're up right now, it don't mean you'll be up a year from now, 2 years from now. Same for your partner, So don't ever enter a relationship with ego. Like, well, I'm making this, or whatever. Like I'm in charge. No. That's
Things
a
can
big
always change. Tables can always turn. Yeah.
listen, baby, the tables turn. And that's why it's a partnership, it's
Mm,
teamwork. Like I couldn't have done it with anybody else because I really believe in like, let's go get it together. You feel me? So
yeah.
When I tell you, I am over here getting flambéed down. Like I don't even know if I was prepared for half of these gyms today.
uh-huh.
Come on.
Because when I'm thinking about, because I think now I'm kind of learning specifically while dating, like how to, enter a better quality of a dating or situation. Because
Yeah.
I love me a rental car nigga.
Yeah.
I love the Dave and
Yeah.
Buster's checkout nigga. Like, so I'm
Yeah.
like, but when it's time to level up, how do I need to be behaving, and how should I be thinking
Mhm.
when it's time to do that? And I'm over here learning the gym, so I'm
Uh-huh,
walking out
yeah.
of this.
Yeah.
And do they invest in you? Because another thing I realized, is like you could date someone who got it, but remember they got it. So
Mm,
now are you helping me to get it, or is it just you got it and arm candy, and it's just like, okay, well, you with me right now, invest in me, baby. And investing in me could really just be a conversation putting me on, like, hey, this is what I do and this is how I make my ends meet. You could easily do X, Y, and Z, like, so yeah, I would say to anyone that's dating, if you are dating someone that's in a, higher financial position than you are, how are they helping you? Like, how are they helping you? I mean, and helping, in my opinion, isn't just giving me things. You really got to like teach me something, or at least point me in a direction like, okay, I see you going this way, you might want to try to do this, or let me connect you with this person because I know somebody that knows somebody, whatever, like, so it's so deep, y'all, because you could wake
yeah.
up one day and that person and their coins and all that could be gone.
Facts.
Woo,
This
so
is I'm trying to figure out, do you have a secret microphone in my apartment somewhere? Because just I'm talking about 45 days ago, I'm like, dealing with someone with a specific type of coin, and like
yeah,
that's cute. We can spend $1,300 on dinner every 2 weeks or whatever, but
yeah,
okay.
yeah,
I like banana Fosters, but I mean, what what we got going on? I don't. I'm gonna just leave
yeah,
it
just, you're not alone, Terrell. I just want you to know you're not alone. Like, I think a lot of us, right, in that dating phase, like we meet people and sometimes they come into our lives and it's just like they're the package. Like, baby, you are the package. But then you got to see how they move, because it's like you're the package, but are you helping me to be a package, like for you, or so been there, honey.
sometimes the package is DHL, sometimes the
Come on
package
now.
is laser ship. You never know.
Come on. Sometimes it's still en route, honey.
It's
Sometimes it just hasn't been delivered.
Hello?
yes.
It's still en route.
Yes.
Put this
So
on a t-shirt immediately.
yes.
Okay.
Okay. So
Okay. Okay. So my next question for you is: should you go to other people about when you're having relationship issues? Now, I mean, this could be family or friends, or do you think it's okay to always talk about your relationship issues with other people?
absolutely not. So and not to say to keep it to yourself, because do not keep it to yourself, but I wanted to be my pastor. I wanted, and we actually were getting ready to start premarital counseling soon. I wanted to be our counselors. I wanted to be someone that is educated in that field, because another thing about friends and family, you could tell them today what issue you're having with your partner, and then you could forget tomorrow, but they don't. They'll hold on to it for forever. So you could tell them, Terrell, Tasha, you could say, he did this, that, and the third, you're gonna forgive him, right? Because depending of the level of what it was, you might be able to forgive him. But your friend or family member, because they love you, they're not going to forgive them. So it's levels to what do you need to share. Like, if we got into an argument about something, is this something I need to go tell a family member or a friend, or do I need to call my pastor? And so, it's just really not, and don't run your mouth, because another thing too is they need to trust you. If your partner can't trust you and you a chatty patty and you just telling everybody everything that's happening within the house, I can't trust you. So
I
yeah, no,
am I 1000% agree with that, because a lot of I think one of the biggest reasons when I got into therapy was because I I can't keep going to my friends about what my issues are, right? Like that's yes, they're my friends, but that's not why they're my friend.
Right.
This next question kind of goes hand in hand to this because this could be results of one of those situations you were talking about. If your spouse and your family have a disagreement, whose side would you take?
Meaning husband, then I'm taking my husband's side. However, I'm not a side type of person. It's so crazy with me, you guys. Like I actually do not choose sides. However, just to answer the question and not dance around it, I would believe my husband would come first because that's my new family. And so with my family that I came from, hopefully they would be understanding that, she's built a new family. But that's such an extreme question. Y'all play too much. These
We got some
questions,
questions.
but they're good. These are good questions.
Oh,
You
well,
know, we got good questions.
a question that's a whole lot less extreme and much more
Mhm.
city girl is what's more important, his penis or his credit score?
Maybe that penis. Okay. So that credit score, we could work on that. We could work on that credit score. Okay. My baby could get his credit score up. He could get,
Uh-huh.
whatever he need fixed, but some other things cannot be fixed.
You got
And
what you got. Hmm.
child, I ain't gonna tell nobody my business, but we're very good over here.
Blessed. I know that's right.
I mean, it's interesting. I think I've learned even so I'm learning about all kind of new technology out there. And
Mhm.
apparently, the TikTok just be out here transforming people's souls. So apparently the girls are going on down to the doctor. And then you
Oh,
could do a little insert here, a little fluff and buff there. And apparently it's a new thing.
wow.
And
What?
now I personally wouldn't because I can't play with
Yeah,
those type of things.
things, yeah.
It
But wow,
just seems too risky for me.
Yeah.
But the girls are going on down, to
to the doctor.
um
What?
Dr.
Wow,
West Palm Beach and walking out, good.
bigger. Wow. Okay,
Blanket.
so I didn't even know that was a thing, but
You
I'm
good.
not surprised. Honestly, like I will say we're living in in a world where things are evolving and changing, and you literally could be whoever you want to be. You can enhance whatever you want to enhance. So good for them.
I
Woo.
support that.
Yes.
That is a big risk. Like I don't know if that's something I want to play with. Like,
These
like
doctors, honey, I
it
mean,
go
things are
wrong.
so different.
Oh,
I'm not even surprised. I can't even try to be too surprised.
just feel so sensitive. Like, whew, okay.
Yeah,
All right. They do what you got to do.
yeah.
Okay, so since you're newly engaged, what would be your
Mhm.
best advice to single women who are in relationships and want their men to pop the question?
Whew. So it's tough, right? Because I know what worked for me may not work for others, but I will say what I did. What I did was I moved with intention from the very first week into it. I was like, hey, this is honestly something that I want for myself. I want to be a wife and I want to have a family. Is that something you want? Okay, cool. But guess what? 6 months later, I'm bringing it back up. You know why? Because I need to make sure that this is a consistent conversation and it's at the forefront, that this is still something that she wants. And so I think sometimes we kind of go with the flow and we forget to have these conversations, even when they're uncomfortable, even when, you might get a rejection on the other side of it. I've been rejected, I've rejected other people. It's life. And that's the part of life that I think sometimes we don't learn how to maneuver with, like how to keep it pushing. And it doesn't mean that something's wrong with you. It just means that that wasn't the person. And you just literally got to keep it pushing. But have the conversation. Have the conversation. Even when it's uncomfortable, palm sweaty, armpit sweating, you don't know what they about to say. You gotta have the conversation.
This is so interesting. Okay, so this is kind of silly, but I just want to know y'all thoughts on this because I recently, well, I guess this has kind of come up a couple of times. So I remember a few years ago where this woman wrote an article about how she made her man a sandwich every day until he proposed. And
Mhm.
there's been this new thing that just recently popped up where there's another young lady who is on Instagram cooking down. I
I saw
mean,
that.
giving all the
Real
tips,
meals. I saw that.
real
It's a lot of
meals.
work. Yep. All
I
right.
mean, I'm personally a homosexual, but young lady, I'm
Mhm.
ready. right, come
Mhm.
right this way. You can take my hand any day. So do you think, how do you guys feel about, is it, is that an internet trend, or am I really doing this like a way to a man's heart is through his stomach? You know what I mean? Like, how do you guys feel about it?
So okay, so I'll go first. So my fiance, he knows how to cook. He's a better cook than me. Okay, he throws down. In fact, he's cooking dinner right now. So what I will say is, I'm not bribing nobody to be with me. You're gonna be with me because it's me. Now, I could cook too, and I'll do things for you, but I'm not going to bribe you to be with me. So when I see those trends, hopefully it's just for likes and comments and shares and it's not the reality. Because what about when you don't feel like cooking? What about if you get sick? What about anything could happen? So, was your relationship based on the fact that you're a chef? Because guess what? We could hire a chef. So I
Mm,
don't know. I think social media could definitely brainwash people, but definitely date with like a realistic mindset. Don't be out here trying to ride
yeah.
people.
That's facts, because I don't want to create a standard that I can't maintain. Like if we start out here and you expecting like this, 5 course meal every night because that's what I was doing to get the ring, and when I get the ring, now you getting sandwiches or you getting this little spaghetti or whatever the bullshit is that I got time to cook. Yeah, he probably gonna resent you. Like that's probably not gonna go well, and
Mhm.
there's still no guarantee that you'll make it to the altar. I don't know, or that you'll
That's
stay
true. Yeah.
married, because the goal isn't just getting. I know people just want to get married and have these nice weddings, but my goal is to have a healthy, solid marriage where it's
Come
really
on.
about us. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
We can have all those things. That'll be wonderful. That'll be the cherry on top. But at the end of the day, it's me and you forever, buddy. Okay?
I think I wanted some
Exactly.
reassurance because I felt like, because I was like, I did feel like it was kind of private, and I was like, okay, is this problematic that I feel this way? So I wanted a second opinion because I was
Yeah.
like, y'all doing what? Okay.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, social media has really it's entertainment, and I think people are getting entertainment mixed up with reality because
Yes.
it's entertaining to watch. Like, wow, this is what you're doing. Okay, cool, but that's not realistic. And yeah, no.
Yeah.
So you got tripping Terrell.
Okay, because I was so like, listen, the internet be out here. It's changed all
Child,
of our lives.
yeah.
So before we get into our red flag game, which is my personal
Okay.
favorite portion of the show,
Mhm.
I would say so. You know, when you were in your dating phase, did you have, what would you say your hardcore deal breakers were?
I actually heard someone say this recently, and I was like, "Wow, I agree with this." My hardcore deal breaker, now looking back at it, it was the person's niceness. And what I mean by that is like, I don't want the mean guy. I don't want the tough guy. Yeah, I want the person that could defend me. If something goes down between him and another man, and he got to take care of that, take care of that. But I don't want the man that's going to talk to me like a man, or talk to me like I'm less than, So I think a hardcore deal breaker is just the person itself in regards to personality and how you treat me and how you talk to me. Because all these other things, like I'm very independent, one out of 6 children. And so I have a single mother. Like I know how to get what I want, for myself, by myself. So therefore, are you coming into my life to tear me down and make me feel bad? If so, I don't need you. So that's my deal breaker. Hardcore deal breaker is like literally your niceness. Like, are you a mean person? Because I ain't got time for that. Mm-mm.
I think I kind of love that we've kind of evolved out of that, because I think that like what I think there was a phrase that people say, like nigging or something, like being
Mm,
negative intentionally towards whoever you're dating was supposed to quote unquote lure them back or something.
mhm.
And I personally think that we've kind of been straying away from that, because why am I coming back and you mean to me? Like,
Yeah.
it don't.
Yeah. You're
I
right, Troy. And I actually read something once and it was like sometimes the meanest person to you is your spouse.
Mm.
The meanest. And that's because they spend so much time with you, they get so
Yeah.
comfortable with you that they might end up becoming the meanest person to you. So definitely a red flag. Gotta be careful with that.
Yeah. Some people are attracted to like toxicity and chaos from for whatever reason, you know?
You're
So,
right. Like
yeah.
it's fun to them.
Yeah,
Child.
like,
Mm-mm.
I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've heard guys say they like dating crazy women. Like I because
Mhm.
they were like, "Well, I don't want to date somebody. I want to be entertained. I don't want to be bored. Like I don't want to get bored with you." I'm like, "So they need to be crazy?" Like that. All right.
And I need to check, please.
Right.
Immediately. Immediately.
I'm out of here. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, so now we're going to venture on over into my favorite portion of the podcast, which is the red flag game. Now, these would be some very straight to the point questions. Is this a red? Do you consider this a red flag or do you not?
Okay.
So I'm going to start.
Okay.
Is it a red flag if a guy has a history of ghosting?
Yes. Major red flag. Because he can't communicate. And I like to communicate. So like if you want to break up or if you want to go do something else, tell me. Like I actually want to have the conversation. And so yeah, ghosting is actually very childish and it's just it's not right, and I think that goes back to people not being able to move on, like they just ghosted you, they left you on red. So yeah, huge red flag.
Okay. So if the engagement is broken or postponed and he asks for the ring back, is that a red flag?
Yes, because then that is a big red flag. Because once you give it to me, it's mine. And also, that just means you're not trying to work it out. Like, because if somebody's like, "Let's postpone this, but I need that back," what? Yeah. So
Feels like that. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
and no, say
yeah. He was mine fucking from the beginning. Oh, you gotta like. I'm over here having realizations.
this is hilarious. Exactly.
Okay,
Hmm.
so is it a red flag if he's still close friends with his exes while he's in a committed relationship?
Yes, red flag, flag on the play. Because be cordial, but you can't be close friends. And cordial meaning like you saw them outside and you said hi, and you just kept it moving. Because you don't have to ignore people.
Right.
If I saw an ex out and about, I'll say hi. But I think being a close friend, that's too much.
Because why are we that close?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Lines can get blurred very easily. Like, yeah.
You can, yeah,
Okay.
and you gotta set boundaries, and you gotta know when to close chapters, or just
Move
we
on.
gotta know how to
Yes.
transition, right? Transition into another chapter phase of your life. You could still be friends, but why are you close friends with your ex? Like that's not needed, not needed.
Gotta let it go. Okay, if he uses astrology as a basis on how you would be in a relationship, like before he gets to know you. Like, you know how that, like, going on first
Right.
date, they ask your sign, and then all of a sudden they know everything about you?
Whew. So I'm not going to call it a red flag only because I feel like it's a trend. I feel like people actually have gotten really into astrology. I'm not into it like that, but I did say earlier, oh, I'm a Virgo, but that's for fun, right? Like it's fun, it's entertainment. But if you really were to be like, oh, so you know what, you're a Virgo, I'm a Scorpio, da 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 da, I'm doing the math. Okay, that's weird. But right, I still wouldn't just call it a red flag. I don't know. I would just say maybe that's something you've studied and you really believe it.
I agree with that because as a person, and I have famously said on this podcast before that I don't particularly get into the horoscope because one, I'm a Scorpio, right? And I think Scorpios get a really bad rap, but I think a lot of the generic Scorpio traits aren't who I am at all, right? I think, it's all generalizations a lot of the time. But and I also really don't understand it. So when you tell me that you were rising IHOP in a half
That's
moon
too much,
Denny's,
right?
I'm like, right. What am I supposed to do with this? It don't I'm like I'm not gonna do
Yeah.
I 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
Y'all just
Like I'm not gonna judge you. Like I really I think I've gotten better later in my life. I really try not to judge, So like let's say you grew up around other people who studied astrology and that was really just the thing. It's not my thing. Like, do you believe in Jesus Christ? Yes. Okay, so then that's our thing. But this other thing, it might just be entertainment. So exactly, Tara. Like, because there are levels. There's people who joke about it, but then there's people that are deep, deep, deep. Like
That's serious, basing everything in life off of it. Yeah.
you see, now that's a little too much, but I wouldn't just say red flag. I guess I just don't want to call it a red flag because it's just not my cup of tea, but I'm not gonna say it's a red flag.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Um, do you think it is a red flag for a guy to not believe in public displays of affection?
No, it's not a red flag because, sometimes people weren't brought up with all of that PDA, like public display of affection. And so it might be awkward for them. And then you got to break them into that. And so I know at first with my now fiance, I was actually more reserved, but he's over time like helped me to get out of that shell. So yeah, so it's not a red flag. And sometimes it could go the other way around. It could be the woman. So because people could change, So at first they may be a little more reserved, but then over time they might say, okay, like we could kiss out here.
Witness.
Hmm.
Okay, so now we've come to the part of our show where we turn the tables and we allow you, Fran, to ask us a question that we must answer. What you got for us, girl?
Ooh, this is really good. Well, first off, I'm loving this conversation, and through this conversation, I want to pose this question to both of you guys, and I want you to be honest, right? Are you dating with intention? Are you entering these spaces with the people that you deal with very intentional about what it is that you want, regardless of what they might say to your question?
Um, I'll start. Um, so I'm 36 now, and I can say that I've been dating with intention since I was probably about 32. I was just playing before that. But I think 32 things started to get real, like the biological clock. Um, and I don't know, the type of man that I was interested in dating. Like it wasn't about like a fun time going on dates and stuff like that. I really wanted somebody that I could build with and grow with, who had the same mentality, who had the same vision and goal, because I feel like I spent so much time trying to get myself together, like making sure that I fulfilled the things within myself that I needed to do. I need to live my life. I didn't want any regrets going into a relationship, if I so happen to stumble upon the one. So I will say, since then, I've been dating with intention. So, and this is kind of where this game kind of came from, questions that need to be asked that we're not asking, conversations that we're not having, and guys who just feel like they've never even been asked these questions, so they don't even know what to say. And it's just like I'm tired of these surface level relationships and encounters. So it's just like, no, at this point I want to get to know you. If we're gonna do this, I need to know some things. I got some questions. I need to know how your mind works. I need to know if we're here. I need to know where I can put you in my life, because I don't expect everybody that I date or go on a date with or entertain to be the one, right? But I got some questions just in case you might be. So yeah. What about you, Terrell?
Listen, the answer is absolutely not. I have not been dating with intention. I think that what I love about this conversation that we've been having is I think I have a different understanding of what dating with intention actually means. Because I just been out here. I think in my mind, dating with intention was just in my head, me being firm in any decision that I make when it comes to dating. And I have learned today that that ain't it. I think I need to be true to myself about what it is I want. Because in this experience where you're dating someone, this is beneficial to the both of us. So no, I ain't been out here doing nothing with intention, honey. I just been, this is crazy. I'm like fried, died, and laid to the side back here. Like do you have a book and where do I purchase? Like this is too much.
You guys. No, but no, I love that. And I love both of your answers. You feel me? Because like to Tasha's point, like sometimes it doesn't click until later on where it's like, wait, I need to be way more intentional than what I've been doing. I'm having fun. I gotta tighten up. And then to your point, Terrell, is that self-evaluation. Like, you know what? I'm not applying the right pressure. Like, and not pressure forcing. You can't force nobody to be with you or to do anything you don't want them to do. But if you have the conversation early on, it really just weeds them out. But I appreciate you guys answering this so honestly and transparently. And it's so funny. It is something I've always thought about. I'm like, wow, I wish I was way more intentional with everything. And I'll send a book recommendation. I don't have one, but I mean, definitely, I think that's something we need to talk more about, I think. And we should hold our friends more accountable. Like, hey, Terrell, you playing out here and you don't have time to waste. Stop playing.
And I
Tasha, you
tell
too.
you,
Like we got to be able to have those conversations with our
Yes,
friends.
and
absolutely.
I'm playing like the jester bitch, like the New York Knicks,
Yeah.
baby, like
And it's
super
okay to
bold.
play. You so silly if that's what you want to do. Like
Yeah,
I think once I turned 30, I was like, okay, I don't want to play no more. So it's like if you're still in your playing stage, that's okay, but you just got to know that's what you want.
exactly. You got to be aware of where you are,
Yeah,
in the dating phase. Because if you're not ready, don't be a burden to
that's
somebody
true.
else. Don't waste somebody else's time either.
Right,
On the flip side of things, you know what I
right.
mean? Like, find you somebody who out here playing too. Y'all can play together.
Y'all play together.
Don't
Come
play
on
with
now.
me.
Don't play with
But don't
me.
play too much while we together though, because then like when I get tired of playing and you still playing,
It's not going to end well.
mm-mm.
See, and I've always been a relationship type of girl. Like I just can't. To me, playing, when I say playing, to me, it was really just me not, it was me holding my tongue, biting my tongue and not saying what I really wanted. And like, fingers crossed, like, hopefully you want what I want.
Yeah.
That to me was playing. I was playing
That's
with my
exactly what I'm going through right now. Girl, let me just somebody turn on Heather Headley, somebody in here because
Come on now.
I
Oh,
did not know
yes.
I was finna
I love her. So true.
I'm upgraded. I'm about to level up.
Okay. You're at that
Come
age
on now.
too. Like, 30 is like the turning point.
And
Yeah.
literally, I'm about to be 31 in a month. And now I'm over here
Oh,
looking at
yeah.
things mad different.
Really, yeah.
Yeah.
The beginning.
Because you know what, too, I do think the older we get, we do start to meet people that may have already been married. They may come with a family. They may come with more baggage accumulates the older we get. And
Yeah.
so, I mean, that's just the reality. So, and that's not always the case because you may just very well meet someone and then you guys could start a family together and do your own thing brand new. They've never had that experience. But then as I get older, I'll be like, well, why you know, such and such age with none of this stuff prior. So but yeah, we all have our own story because I will tell you by 30, I thought I was gonna be married with my family, everything. Like that's I could have sworn that was gonna happen. So God's time.
Absolutely. God's time. Gotta trust it.
Oh, yes.
That's all we have for you, girl. We really appreciate you coming on the show and sharing your very honest, open answers and dropping them gems, girl. We like those. We like those a
But
lot.
I can't wait for this episode. I'm gonna share it with all my friends because this was really therapeutic too. Like just being able to talk about it and sharing insight with two people, like it just feels really good.
Oh, girl, that's our goal. That is our goal.
Yeah,
So why don't
yeah.
you let our listeners know where they can find you on the internet and let us know what's coming next for you?
Oh, thank you. Okay, so you guys it's easy to just go to heyfrancois.com, HeyFrancoise. That is my personal website, and it has all of my business endeavors, my personal stuff as well. So that's just like a one-stop shop. I am also the founder of Black Love Page. So you can also on social media just go to Black Love Page and keep up with the page itself, the blog. I'll be more on it with my fiance because I think the fact that I had that business since 2016, I went through heartbreaks. I went through all types of emotions. I went through so much, but never gave up on love. Always knew that it would eventually find me. So that's kind of my goal to really represent that on that platform. And what's next is honestly, like I said, just enjoying being engaged. I want to plan the wedding soon, but I know there's so much work before the wedding, so that'll probably happen in 2023, like the planning of it. I just want to enjoy being engaged right now. But yeah, that's it. I'm just glad to be here with you guys. I was nervous, but I'm so happy that like I came and like this conversation was really good. So thank you.
Enjoyed it so,
Okay.
so, so, so much. Listen, y'all, please remember download the Secrets of this Opposite Sex app. check out our YouTube where we always post a full interview. You know, you get the cute little clip on the Instagram or whatever, but check out these interviews, y'all. We really get down to the nitty gritty. We love y'all. We appreciate it. Next time.